what's happening. We're at the airport again. Well, we're at the airport today. Yesterday, they ran like 30-something planes, a bunch of trips up to Western North Carolina, Asheville, you know, that whole area, wherever they can land and drop off supplies. And FEMA has flown in like 10 or more helicopters and blocked a runway here at Greenville downtown. Completely took over, or almost took over the operation, just because they're doing some good here. FEMA's gonna come here and try to stop it. And they took over one of the hangars over here too. We'll show you as much as we can. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, here's the helicopters that are blocking one of the runways here at Greenville downtown. All flown in by FEMA helicopter pilots. And they're just sitting there doing nothing. And you have Greenville Aviation over here taking in all kind of supplies, everything that people want to drop off. There's a huge operation going on over here. Yesterday we ran about 30-something planes, or they did, I didn't fly anything, but just putting stuff in planes, taking it up to Asheville and other areas, and they came in and halted. FEMA came in and halted all that operation. And there they are, just sitting over there, doing nothing. When there's thousands of pounds of supplies over there that could be taken, they're just sitting there doing nothing. And blocking the runway with however many helicopters.
The reason why we're starting to see such a push for censorship right now, the reason why we're seeing so many attacks on our freedom of speech, is because it's getting really hard to gaslight an entire country. It's getting really hard to lie to everyone about what's going on when everyone is basically walking around with a cell phone in their pocket that is capable of shooting 4K video and capable of getting into communication with basically anyone in the world. So right now, as the mainstream media is desperate to control the narrative, we're watching what's happening with the response to this storm. We're watching North Carolina. We're watching Tennessee. We're watching live in many cases. We're seeing videos of the destruction. We're hearing firsthand from people who were affected. You know, when these people are lucky enough to get cell phone reception or some form of internet, they're capable of reaching out to us. We can communicate with these people, people who we don't even know, complete strangers. We're able to communicate with them and get the truth about what's going on. And the powers that be hate that because they want to control the flow of information, but they can't. And they've been exposed as the liars that they are time and time again. And it's happening again right now. For days, there were flights going in, citizens delivering goods and rescuing people, and now FEMA has come in trying to block people from doing that. And you see in that video, they're blocking the runway as people are trying to help right now. But it's not just that. You see, the mainstream media is pretending like these government agencies came in and they're doing all of this good and they're helping and doing this. Listen, in some cases, some people are helping. I'm not here to deny that. But in many cases, these government agencies like FEMA, they're posting up miles and miles away from the disasters, doing nothing but trying to control and stop people who are helping. Meanwhile, the death toll has risen to 230, and hundreds, if not more, are still missing. And to be realistic, I think a lot of these people may never be found. There's entire towns that are kind of buried in mud. I'm talking about, I don't want to give an exact estimate, but just taller than me, right? Cars covered, literally. You got houses buried out there in the debris. So it's going to be really hard to find some of these people. I don't even want to get into the gruesome details of it. But even in the recovery process, you don't know if the land that you're standing on right now was there to begin with, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So there could be people underneath you. So it's a really crazy situation that these people have to deal with. And as I've mentioned in past videos, I think there's people missing that people don't even know are missing yet, because in some of these areas, people like to stay to themselves. You know, some of these people are literally what you would call mountain men. They don't really stay in contact with many people. A lot of them are loners, which is why they're in these areas to begin with, and they don't want to be bothered. So there's people who we don't know of, who no one knows of, that were lost in the storm, I can guarantee you. It's just extremely sad, you know, to watch how this is playing out. And, you know, you would think that the media, at the very least, I know the media isn't going to be 100% truthful, and the media is trying to cover up, you know, for certain people and certain politicians, and of course for the government as a whole. I get that. But if you look at the media today, they're hardly spending any time talking about how you could help these people. They're not spending much time talking to the people on the ground. They're spending their time putting out article after article after article, accusing the people who literally, think about it. These people literally just got swept away in floodwaters, and now they're being told that they're lying conspiracy theorists because they're stuck out there without help, and they're telling people they're getting no help. But the media is like, yeah, you are getting help. What help? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. At this point, you have to be a conspiracy theorist if you believe the media. Because everyone out there is telling you, they're screaming at the top of their lungs. Everyone's trying to speak out. Volunteers who are coming in, who aren't even from these areas, who are from around America, are telling you what they're running into, right? Yet the media is still here combating us as we try to spread and raise awareness about what's going on. But that's what we always have to deal with. We have to fight against the media to get the truth out there. And I think that sucks. It absolutely sucks. Because you want the media to be doing their job. They're not doing their job, but at least don't get in the way. It's kind of like what the people are dealing with FEMA, right? If you're not going to do your job, at least get out of the way and let us do the job. So with the media, if you're not going to do your job at covering the story, if you're not going to be true independent or true journalist and investigative journalist, if you're not really going to go out here and talk to the people on the ground, then get out the way and let other people do it, and stop accusing everyone of being conspiracy theorists and all of this nonsense. And it's like these days, whenever you hear the word misinformation, you already know it's coming from someone who just doesn't want the truth to get out there. Misinformation is kind of like another word for the truth these days. As soon as I hear the word misinformation, it's a red flag for me. Because they try to label the truth as misinformation all the time. Like we gotta listen to the gods at CNN and MSNBC and all of these other news stations. Like they're the arbiters of truth. It's absolutely ridiculous. But instead of complaining about what the media is doing, let me do what the media is not doing. Let me allow you all, I'm going to use my platform here to boost this woman's voice, who's actually there, who's actually struggled through this, who's blessed enough to be here today speaking about her, you know, what she's experienced and what her area has experienced. So let's roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Please watch this video to the end, is all I ask of you. Please watch this video to the end. Do not pass judgment. Listen to every single word that I say. My name is Cassandra. I live in a little town called Spruce Pine, North Carolina that was directly affected by Hurricane Helene. Anybody in their right mind thinking that outside people should not be speaking on what the government has done or is not doing to our area is insanity to me. As someone who is here at Ground Zero in Mitchell County, North Carolina, it is going to take you as the creators on this app to speak up, to get us help here. Because I will tell you, our government is not doing a damn thing for us. They are not doing anything. I have had 3 tractor and trailers from Florida denied entry. I have had 2 trucks of supplies coming from West Virginia denied entry. Now you tell me that people don't have the right to speak on our area? You're wrong. They do. We need people on this app to speak up and do something and help us. And I say us, I am blessed. God, am I blessed. My power came back on last night. I've got a little bit of cell phone service. I'm at Walmart. I don't have water. It'll probably be months, but you know what? I am blessed. I am blessed. My house is intact. There is people that have died, that are gone. There is families that don't know where their loved ones are. There is babies, children that have died. So anytime you want to cancel someone for speaking about what our government is not doing in the Appalachian Mountains, you think about that. You think about these babies and these loved ones that will never see their person again.
You know, when I watch these clips and the people get emotional, it makes me so angry. You know, it makes me so angry because I see people out here crying, devastated, and some of these people aren't even people, these are volunteers in some cases who are coming into the area and they're literally crying just looking at the devastation. So it just makes me really angry when I see this, when I take into consideration that the media should be covering this. You should be watching clips of this woman talk on the mainstream media, but instead on the mainstream media, they're telling you everyone's lying. The government's doing a great job. No, they're not. But, you know, there were a few videos that I made about this subject where I was showing you some missing persons posts, because there's a lot of people still missing. Hundreds, if not over 1,000, still missing. And one of the women who was missing was a woman by the name of Julie LaRoe. And unfortunately, she has been found, but she is no longer with us. And I want to go ahead and dive into a story about that situation real quickly. Body of man's fiance found days after she went missing amid Hurricane Helene. She is now at peace. A North Carolina man held out hope for his missing fiance after she was swept away by Hurricane Helene. Sadly, after days of searching, loved ones announced that she had died. The family of Julie LaRoe says that tragically she did not survive. Her relatives also say on Friday, October 4th, that after days of searching, her body was recovered by first responders. It is with a heavy heart that we share the passing of John's fiancée, Julie. John Norwood's sister, Maggie, wrote in a message shared on a page. Unfortunately, she did not survive the storm. We take comfort in knowing she is at peace and no longer suffering. Julie was such a kind-hearted soul. Absolutely a match made in heaven for John. Now we must learn to navigate life without her, his sister added. Asking for prayers for peace and acceptance. See you in the wind, baby girl. Thank you for all of your continuous prayers and support, Maggie wrote in a separate post on Facebook. The Marion community showed up and showed out, and I can't express how much that meant to us. Now we pray for peace and acceptance. McDowell County officials stated in a press release Friday that one fatality has been reported related to Helene thus far, though they did share the identity of the deceased. Norwood previously said he and his fiancée took shelter at a neighbor's house in the mountains of Marion during the storm. However, as waters continued to rise around the house, it was knocked down, and they got separated. I crawled around screaming, looking for her, and I just couldn't find her, he said in tears, adding that they all got washed downriver. Norwood was eventually rescued and hospitalized for his injuries, but has since been released. Speaking with the news before LaRoe's body was found, he said that he was praying for a miracle. So an extremely sad story, an overall extremely sad situation. And, you know, there's going to be hundreds of other stories like this one that we're going to be hearing in the coming days, weeks, months, you name it. Who knows how long they'll be out there searching and looking for people. It could be a very long time. I think this may be one of the biggest efforts that we've ever seen as far as search and rescue goes. I don't know if there's going to be much rescuing at this point. I think it will be more so searching, if you get what I'm saying here. But yeah, it's just, words can't even express how messed up this is. And to see the response, it's even more messed up. But unfortunately, at least for places in Florida and stuff, now we're gearing up for another storm that looks like it's going to be pretty bad. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, at least for me personally, like I said, I've explained to you all, obviously I made it through this storm okay, extremely blessed. I don't know what's going to go on with this next storm, so there may be days where you don't hear from me. Who knows if the power and the internet gets knocked off. I don't even know, maybe I'll actually be leaving. I'm not sure yet, even as far as that goes. So as we're assessing the damage and the destruction of Hurricane Helene, many of us are preparing for another one. But for now, let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.